Rick Wallace.
And I have Don Holly here with me.
Three phases, dressage, cross-country, show jump. And you're out on course and something's going wrong or going right. You know how to react to what they're doing.
It was built originally to be a schooling facility, and so everything's set up very conveniently.
Welcome to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. This is episode 7 in season 3. John, it's great to see you. We're coming to you via Zoom because we have other things happening, and it was the way to get our guests on tonight. So how are you?
I'm great. Yeah, some really good guests. We got Will Coleman coming up.
Yeah.
Which is going to be great. He's just on fire. He is like smoking around all the events right now. So that'll be a really good opportunity to catch up with him. And then we've got some people from EEI, right? We got Vanessa
Coleman and the new executive director that took over for Lee Carter, Mike Cooper. So that will be a great call. You know, we can talk about this year and having all the spectators back, and it'll be exciting to hear about the five-star list and exactly what's going to be happening there this year.
Yeah, it will be exciting. I can't wait to hear from them. Before we do that, we do have a couple of pretty fun announcements. First is Joel and Molly just had their baby.
Yeah, Ryder Lee.
Yeah, little boy. So that's exciting for them. Congratulations to Joel. And I'll be honest, guys, that's a little bit part of the reason probably we're doing this on Zoom, the whole thing, because I didn't have the heart to tell Joel that he needed to come into the studio less than a week after they have a newborn baby.
Bang. I agree with you there. So there you go. It's our baby gift.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome, Joel. Molly might be like, get him out. Who knows? Maybe Molly, we can get him out of there next time. And then Tick and Sinead Maynard, they just had, I know, I almost said it. Yeah. So they had Violet, I believe it's Violet Catherine, right? And Brooks, their little boy, named her Goldfish. So
crazy. I saw that. That's what a cute little name.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to keep it.
What's that?
I wonder if they're going to let that keep going because it's going to just be Goldfish now.
I think they are. I talked to Tick on the weekend at Rocking Horse, and he said that he calls her Goldfish now. So I think it might stick around.
She might not like them so much in the future.
I don't know. I mean, Piggy March, she got named that as a nickname by one of her little siblings, I believe, as a little kid.
She got called Goldfish?
No, Piggy.
Oh.
Good God.
Sorry. It's been a lot. So there's a lot going on, though. We got to catch up because we haven't seen each other. We went to Carolina International.
Yep.
And Elisa and Briggs had 5 between them and the FEIs. They all did really well. Briggs's Black Horse smoked it and was only 2 of 3 in the 3-star to make it around on time. And he finished on his dressage score in the 3-star.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. And got his new bit to be able to do that.
Got walrus. We're calling it the walrus bit.
Oh, I like that because it's got the letter on the bottom. That's
yeah,
good.
we can talk about that more later. And we better not have dogs start barking because I'll be really upset.
Yeah, it's been a little tough getting this done. I'll let everybody know we've had some internet issues. So we're just, if anything goes wrong here, you might see both of us have our heads explode on screen. Boom. Yeah, so that's great. So you had said if he could get that bit, you thought he could make time on the mare because he wouldn't be wrestling and pulling. And obviously that worked. It was nice. Must have been just a nice, smooth round for him.
Yeah, but he didn't make time on the mare. He did cut his time in half on the mare.
Okay, cool. It was the gelding, right? Sorry.
12 time penalties and instead of 22, like at Red Hills. She finished 16th in a big field. He finished 9th on the 7-year-old thoroughbred. And by the way, that qualifies him with the 2-star long for Lyon in France for the 7-year-old championships.
That's awesome. I can't wait. We need to take the show on the road. I will come on that trip.
You will come to France?
Yeah, I'll come to France.
Okay. I'm going to hold you through that. Everybody,
I'll be there.
Episode 7, season 3, he said he would go.
Yep. No, I'm definitely there. If you guys go, then we can logistically make it all work.
Fun.
Yeah, it'd be a blast. I like baguettes and cheese and wine, and I've never been to France, so I'm all in.
Well, so wrapped up really well. Kudos to Bobby Costello, Will Fodry, Jane Murray, not Barron. Jane Murray, she did a great job organizing and doing just a fantastic job for all of us, the riders, the grooms, the sponsors. It was a great event. The footing was terrific. Ian Stark's course was spot on. And so it was a good go.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So just before that, we had Red Hills. I don't think we talked about Red Hills at the last show. I think it was just getting rolling, wasn't it? So Lauren won that.
Lauren, we did talk about it.
Okay, we did. And so then the next one that came up was Carolina, and Will won that on, was that the one that he won on Chin Tonic?
Oh, Chin Tonic at Stableview. Right.
Don Dante won at, and he won on Don Dante on a 27.4, which is incredible. And then he went to Stableview and he won on Chin Tonic on a 28. And I know from talking with some high performance people, being able to finish sub 30 is really a big mark to be able to get a good finish at an international 5-star. Now, obviously a 5-star is not a 4-star. A 4-star is not a clear indication that you're gonna be able to cruise around and make time on cross country. But if he can finish close to that 30 mark, I think we could really be talking about having a winner from America for Kentucky this year.
Yeah, and I think people will see in the interview when we come up, he made a really good point. I mean, Will is obviously doing a really good job. He's got 4 horses that are right up there in the echelon. And what his point was, you can win your 4 shorts, like you just said, and it's going to be about the 5 long. And if you have a 5 long horse, because that is an extended time out galloping around. And if you haven't done it, then you're going to be marking it by watching them do that, right?
Yeah, for sure. But again, good show jumping, good dressage. You go out there and lay it all out on cross country and see where you're at. But it's certainly trending the right way. I think, I guess my point is that we've got some really good horse rider combinations right now. And Will, in my opinion, would be kind of the leader of those guys as far as performance. And if we can get, a handful of them heading into camp, heading for the WEG this year, I would be very excited if I were one of the guys taking on that role as team manager, thinking we got a shot. That's pretty cool stuff.
I totally agree. And I'm pressing everybody out there. I'm pressing the mute as fast as I can if I hear some noise.
Yeah, you're good. It's been great.
Good. So yeah, I agree with that. And that's exciting. And I know, Stableview just finished and you, just as you said, you want to read some other winners from those events?
So Stableview, where he won on Chin Tonic, right? We had Jenny Brannigan, who's another one who's just doing pretty darn well this year. She actually was second and third, second on Twilight's a Gleam and third on FE Lifestyle. And those horses both finished on good marks on a 32.5, which is a good team score, and a 35.8, which would be another good team score. So that's exciting for her. The 3-star Jenny won it again. She won it, not won it again, but won it and was in good placing again on Conroy. On a 30.3, and then a girl who rides with Jenny and is good friends with her, Alyssa Phillips, was there, and she finished second on a 37.7, and then just 0.10 behind you had Will Coleman on a 37.8. So he's just everywhere right now. I don't know. He's almost unbeatable at the minute, which is pretty cool for him. So we had that, and then I'm just pulling up the other results here. Like we said, at Carolina, you had Don Dante in the winner's circle there on a 27.4. And then again, another one who I think is going to probably be contributing to the team. You got Doug Payne in there on Star Witness on a 31.9, which you wouldn't be disappointed with that in a team competition. And then Will Fodry came in third on a 32.8, which to me, I feel like that 33 mark is kind of, you got to be below that to finish.
That was all good. Will Fodry.
Yeah, that's on Fun.
Yeah.
But again, then you had Sydney Elliott, Doug Payne, Will Coleman. Like, I think the thing is, And this is something that I think is really important just as we wrap up this segment is, everybody talks about like, oh, how do you make a team? What do you do? Like, oh, it's so hard to crack in there. And obviously I've been at this game for a while myself as you have. And to me, it's really simple. These guys, we just went through the people who've been in the top 6 at these events, and it's the same people. So it's pretty simple. Win. Oh, good. Perfect.
You didn't mute your.
I didn't mute. I'm going to mute for a second.
Talk. Well done. I could read your lips, but people on the podcast that can't see lips.
There, I'm back. I just said, shut up. I was talking to the dogs. We almost made it all the way through. I apologize, guys. We're very, very high technology here. I'm working on my new studio upstairs. It'll be much better. It's almost done.
Wait, it's been a good 2 weeks. I know you just competed at Rocking Horse and had some good results with your horses.
Yep.
Kudos to you. I know, was Rocking Horse a big entry list, or was it a little bit scaled down?
It was a little smaller than it had been, but it still had 400 horses. It was good. They had a lot of rain. The new rings did not do well in the rain, which was really disappointing. They're going to have to figure that out because they weren't good when it was dry and they weren't good when it was wet. So got to figure out what Rocking Horse is going to do about those rings. The courses, they weren't the most creative tracks I've ever seen. Morgan really puts a lot of effort into those courses out there, but they were acceptable. They were good. They weren't the greatest tracks that I've seen him lay out there, but you know what? You can't be perfect every time. The distances were fine. It was acceptable, good working event to go to get the runs that we needed. And yeah, the horses were all good. So I got what I needed, and I go out again in 2 weeks at Ocala for that event, which I guess I'll probably see you guys there.
Excellent. We're actually doing a dressage show here at WEC, and Elisa will be competing at Ocala. We're not doing any of the FEIs. We've decided on the 2 that Briggs rides. It's all about scheduling. He's really going to hold off and not run them until the 3 long. I think they've done enough prep, and we're just going to save them for the 3 long and do some schooling, jumper stuff, and some cross country schooling.
Cool. That's a good plan. Got to have a plan. Well, listen, let's take a break. We're going to be back with our Stress Less segment with Mr. Will Coleman, the big winner of all the events this spring, apparently, and see if we can predict if he's going to keep it going into Kentucky. All right?
All right. Sounds good.
Want to advertise on the John and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
I Love My Horse Eventing Boutique is pleased to announce its participation in the 2022 Land Rover Kentucky 3-day event. Located in booth 128 on Dr. Peach's Way, they have all of your eventing needs. Shockamo breeches, clothing, and boots, incredible quality at competitive prices. And the Shockamo paddock boots are the most comfortable boots that I have ever worn. Fantastic clothing and apparel from makers like Fairplay, RJ Classic, and Castle. I Love My Horse carries Amalfi breeches. They're comfortable and stylish. Looking for none-finer products? I Love My Horse has you taken care of there too. They'll keep your team in competition form. I Love My Horse has all of your safety needs covered, safety vests, and of course 1K helmets manufactured to exacting standards with MIPS technology, and they even have their expert helmet fitter, Darlene, on premises for the entire competition. Guys, they have us taken care of too. I Love My Horse has a complete line of men's attire. Come check out their amazing choices. Check out I Love My Horse at the Kentucky 3-day event in booth 128 on Dr. Peach's Way, or at their store in Ocala located at WEC on the plaza inside Arena 3, or you can give them a call at 352-672-1997.
Sweet Dixie South is an equestrian facility built for the lifestyle of eventers of all levels. Whether you are coming to Ocala for the entire season, a week, a month, or a year, this beautiful 160-acre farm is the place to settle in and enjoy your time with horses. They offer a full cross-country course with 2 water features, banks, ditches, and amazing footing to gallop, a spectacular all-weather footing ring, large grass jumping fields, and dressage rings. Located in the rolling hills of North Marion County in Reddick, Florida, Sweet Dixie South has 100 stalls and numerous paddocks, apartments, a line of camper hookups, washer and dryer amenities, as well as common areas to complete your experience during your stay. Under the ownership of Mike Campbell and the management of Can-Do Joe Adams of Top Rail Tack, Sweet Dixie South has transformed into a premier eventing training facility in Florida. Go to www.sweetdixiesouth.com for more information.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian developed, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stress Less Horse Supplement.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are now in our Stress Less segment with the guy who is obviously not affected by stress at all, Mr. Will Coleman. Will, thanks for joining us.
Cool. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so you are fresh off a second win at where were you? Stableview.
Yep. Yeah, we just got back from Stableview. We had a good event up there.
And so I'm just pulling up the results here. So you won her up there, and this time you won it on Chin Tonic.
I did, yeah. He was really good. All 3 phases, actually. I thought he had a very good.
Yeah, you like won from the beginning, didn't you? You won the dressage and then you just kept going.
Yeah, he was a wire-to-wire winner, which was kind of nice. He's normally pretty competitive on the flat, and thought he did a nice test. And then jumping phases were excellent. I really think the horse is in a good place, and I still think there's another level that we can achieve. But for his first 4-star advanced run of the year, I thought he came out in very good form.
Awesome. So what was the event like in general? How were the courses? I'd heard the cross country there was pretty twisty derby type course.
It is a bit. I mean, it's kind of the nature of that piece of ground. The beginning of the course is quite open, but then towards the end, it was really technical, and there were a lot of, I thought, good questions, but they just came up in very rapid succession. So I think for my horse, who we are sort of thinking about doing a couple things this year, potentially overseas, I wanted to take him somewhere where he would have to cope with sort of the intensity of a kind of super technical course. And he got a taste of that at Stableview. And I just couldn't be happier with how he handled it. He seemed to read the questions really well. And I was very, very pleased with how he ran.
And so where do you take him next then? What's the plan?
He'll go to Kentucky and do the Forest Shore there at the end of the month. And then sort of we'll see how that goes and then map out the next steps.
Cool. And so then preceding that, you were at, where were we? Carolina, is that right, Rick?
Carolina International. I think he won on Don Dante, right?
I did. Yeah, that was the week before. It's been a busy month.
Right.
But we came home from Carolina and basically had 4 days to sort of turn around and head to stable view with a different small group of horses, but a different group of horses.
And so Don Dante is owned by Team Rebecca, is that right?
Team Rebecca and another little group called the 4-Star Eventing Group. They've been two of them, and Team Rebecca and that little group have been some of my most loyal and long-standing supporters. So, and they've been a part of Al since he was, a baby. So it was very gratifying, I think, for them to see him now come to this place where he could net a big international win, and he put forth 3 good phases, and gives us a good feeling as we head towards Kentucky.
So he's headed for the 5-star then.
He is. Yes, I've got him, Off the Record, and Tight Lines all doing the 5-star, and then Shin Chronic in the 4-star.
Right. And so I watched you at Carolina. That horse looks the best I've ever seen him go. I mean, he looked fantastic. And so kudos to you for doing such a great job this year with that, and then having another win. I know you mentioned overseas with Chintonic. We sort of let that slide by without asking any questions. And I'm kind of curious, where would you want to aim toward with that one?
I'd like to take him to Aachen. And I know we're sort of in a transitional place in U.S. eventing from a leadership standpoint, but I hope that if given the opportunity, I would love to take him to Aachen and give him that sort of experience at this stage of his career.
And that's a good segue, Will. I mean, Aachen would be great. Seems like you had really good luck there last year. So with what you just mentioned about the team and things going on and trying to prep for, we have a world championship coming up, Olympics next year. Are y'all adhering together, the core group, and you're kind of working off of each other? How are you adjusting to not really having leadership there?
For me, it's been very little adjustment. And I think for everyone, I think it's been maybe good in the sense that you are forced to rely upon yourself. I think right. It's our job, I think, as professionals to sort of figure out what sort of program it requires to get your horses competitive on a global standard. And so for me, it's nothing has changed. I'm still working with the same people that I was working with the last 2 years, and we're just continuing to build on what we've been doing. And I think the horses are starting to feel really established in those systems and in their bodies and minds. I just feel like they're all in a good place, and the work is starting to feel easier and easier. So that's nice, I mean, you need a bit of luck and need horses to stay sort of healthy and all that, but knock wood, we've had that so far this year, and hopefully it continues. But as far as the U.S. team stuff, I mean, for me, I just am doing the same things I've been doing, and trying to set my horses up as well as I can for our big goals. And it hasn't been any different.
Well, you should keep doing what you're doing, because I guess with the 3 wins, we can call that a hat trick. So there you go.
Well, yeah, maybe. But, there's no, 4 short success is not a great predictor of 5-star success. So I think we are very much aware of that. And we know that we still have a lot of things that we need to do really right to have the horses ready for Kentucky. And a couple of these horses, particularly, they're not the most blood. And so, a big challenge for us is making sure that we have them conditioned in a way that they can, handle 5-star intensity and stamina. So that's still a big question mark, particularly on, a couple of these horses. So we feel very much like we're in a good place, but we know we still have a lot of work to do.
Well, and Will, to that point, I think to the first part of that, which is trying to be competitive internationally. I mean, you've got these 2 wins, which is impressive on its own, right? But the thing that as I look at the results here that I think is most impressive is you're on a sub 30 score on both horses. You won one on a 28 and one on a 27.4. That's incredibly consistent, incredibly good results. And, I think the conventional thinking is if you can finish in that sub 30 area, you're going to be winning some major events. And obviously time plays into that, but you got to feel pretty good about your chances going into Kentucky and going into team selection and everything going out this year. I mean, it's a pretty nice spot to be sitting in. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, John, we really just try to take it one day at a time. I feel like the horses have all come out this year. I mean, even off the record, he bumped the stifle at Red Hills in the 4-star there, and I had to withdraw on the Sunday, but he was in the pole position and I think had put forth 2 really good phases at that event as well. So I feel like the horses have come out and they're showing that they're in form for what they've been asked to do. But 5-star is just a whole nother animal. And I think we just, while I'm happy with how things are going, I know that these next few weeks are really critical, and we're just trying to execute our plan as best we can, and hopefully it's the right plan.
Yeah, well, I mean, so far it certainly seems to be. So kudos to you. Good job. Will, let's do this. I want to take a brief break. We got to check in with some sponsors. Are you able to stick around for one more segment for us?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thanks, man. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian-developed, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stress Less Horse Supplement.
Jump for Joy fences are easy to move, lightweight, durable, and low maintenance. So we're out here on the cross country. We just finished over in the show jumping over the Jump for Joy fences. Had a great time schooling over them. They're really nice and easy to move, so we were able to adjust some things and really have the exact school that we needed thanks to the Jump for Joy fences. I love them.
Order yours at jumpforjoyusa.com.
Rick Wallace here, bringing you Equibrew, a live probiotic that is geared to help your horse's gut health. I'm a true believer in this Equibrew, and it really makes a difference in all of my horses. Equibrew is safe, non-toxic, and clean sport compliant for FEI and racing events. Equibrew is an intact fermentation product with very high numbers of beneficial microbes. Order at equibrew.com or 850-879-2649.
Summit Joint Performance, the injectable joint supplement used by numerous international and Olympic riders, invites you to experience the winning Summit difference. Made of all natural ingredients, Summit increases mobility and comfort. Win your class with Summit Joint Performance. Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros, and we are still here with the hot man in eventing, and I mean that as far as his competition results. I'm not hitting on you, Will, I swear. So we got Mr. Will Coleman, and thanks for sticking around, man.
No worries.
All right. So we were just finishing up talking about the horses and the results at the Four Shorts, and it's obviously been a great season for you. You got a good team in place. One of the things, well, first of all, I want to say is you and Katie just had another kid. So you had West, is that right? West Coleman?
We did, yeah. West was born January 5th.
Yeah,
and,
that's pretty awesome. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
It's like, it's the thing to do. Joel just had his kid, and Tick and Sinead just had theirs.
I know, it's been a busy baby season.
Yeah, it's perfect. Caden's pretty excited because he's 14, so he figures he's going to make some cash off you guys at the events looking after kids.
Hey, I mean, we are prepared to pay Caden.
Perfect. I'm his agent. I get a cut.
You work that out with Caden.
You just work just direct. I see.
In the Howling household.
Yeah. All right. Cutting out the middleman. I see. All right. That's cool. So I want to get back into the horses eventually, but one of the things I do want to make sure we have some time for is I know you guys have some changes going on sort of with your home base and where you're located. And I've had a lot of people asking me, funny enough, like, what's Will doing? And I'm thinking, I don't have a clue, but now I got you so I can find out. So what are you doing? I heard you sold the place up north.
We did. We're kind of, I think, going to be sort of relocating in Virginia, but it'll be a bit of time, I think, before it's sort of ready for us to move up there, lock, stock, and 20 horses in tow. So I think for this year, we're going to be in Ocala, and we might do a little tour up north for 8 to 10 weeks in the later part of the summer and fall, depending on events and what horses we have going where. But yeah, we are Floridians now, so we're going to be local to the Ocala area for this year, and we've been down here for more and more the last few years, and it's starting to feel very comfortable, and our horses do well here. So we're very lucky. The farm that we get the base out of is a really amazing place to train. So we're very blessed.
Yeah, I've seen some videos and photos of that cross country schooling area. It looks pretty nice. So yeah, good for you guys. Glad to have you here year round, man.
Yeah, we can sweat it out summer together, John.
There you go. We'll have a couple pool parties, barbecues. It's a good time.
Sounds good.
And then you just go over, you hit WEC, do some air conditioned jumping. It's the way to go.
Yeah, I'm in. In.
All right, cool. Okay, so I think you said on the last one, but who do you have going to Kentucky now?
I've got Tight Lines, Don Dante, and Off the Record in the 5-star, and Chin is doing the 4-star.
Got it. And that's the one that you're going to hope to take to Aachen, this Chin Tonic.
I'd like to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now you're in Florida through Kentucky then?
I am.
So what are you doing? You were talking about these horses needing to get their gallops right to get the 5. And I know in the past you would head back home and you'd be using your hill for your gallop. So what's the plan for your fitness work here going forward?
Well, we were here last year before all the way to Kentucky as well. And I think there's enough places in and around Ocala that you can access a bit of a hill. And I think we do some additional things conditioning wise down here that aren't available to us in Virginia with some aqua tread. And I haven't swam any of these horses, but we do use aqua tread pretty consistently. And I don't know if that's necessarily a win fitness help, but it certainly, I think, has strengthened our horses and given them another way to sort of build top line. So, I mean, you've got to be a little creative, but I think, people get fit for events like this all around the world, and not all of them have access to, gallops like you could dream about in the UK or in some of the other places in the world. So we're doing the best we can. And I think, we're lucky there's enough places in and around Ocala that we can, I think, get the horses well and fit enough.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Like, obviously I've been here for a long time. I know Leslie does it down here. I mean, I tell people, but I don't know if you remember my little Downtown Harrison horse I had, but that one, I think I got probably 3 extra years out of the end of his career because I didn't gallop him. He couldn't gallop anymore. He'd go sore. So we actually just swam that horse and kept him going at 4 stars. So I think if I could have galloped a bit and swam him, I certainly could have had him. So
I think that's totally true. I mean,
Yeah,
there's just lots of ways to do it, and you got to be a horseman about it. But I think that, it's possible.
right. Okay. So then we talked a little bit in the beginning about the high performance stuff and you're kind of doing your thing. Do you think as it goes forward, obviously we don't know who's going to be put in place to sort of fill that role. Do you have any thoughts or concerns about team type stuff, who the leader is going to be, leadership going into the games this year? Or are you just planning to do your own thing and not worry about it?
Well, I think from a performance standpoint, you're going to have to worry about your own thing and really make sure that you get your horse ready for the event as best you can. And I think you have to take full ownership of that. And I think everybody is. I really think that no one's sitting back and not preparing to the best of their abilities because we don't have a leader in place. But I think my hope for what we get coming out of this process with high performance is really a structure that's more geared around just having a very top class manager and not a centralized coach. My feeling is that one coach is really, it's very difficult for that one person to sort of service everybody in a meaningful way. And it creates sort of this almost like gravitational pull towards this guy that's this anointed US coach, instead of people really just trying to figure out the best way for them to maximize their potential of themselves and their horses. And that's nothing against the people that have been in those roles before. I think it's just structurally difficult for that to be successful. And now the sport is just too good. You have to be working with somebody way more consistently than one coach trying to teach all the top riders in America. And I think the more you sort of get into a program that you can sort of be in for years on end, with the highest levels of performance in mind, I think that the more successful you'll be. And I think the person at the head of it should be focusing on kind of looking at US eventing as a bit of a portfolio to manage and figuring out, how to sort of strategize and identify different performance, levels amongst the riders. And I think it's a manager role. What I hope it will be is a manager role and not a coaching role.
So then, and I've heard that a lot, and I don't disagree with it one bit. I guess my only question, and sort of people that I talked to about it question, is, so what do you do? Like, I think this year is a little bit different because there's going to be a lot of accreditation available, is my understanding, for individual coaches. But let's fast forward to the next Olympic Games, when the number of accreditations that are available limit who those coaches can be. How do you foresee something like that getting dealt with if you have sort of a team manager type person in place, and now you're there, Boyd's there, maybe Philip, maybe Liz, whoever, and you guys all want your people? How do you deal with that?
Well, you might not get your people. And I think that's okay too.
Right.
I don't have my people at a lot of events, and for sure, if I could, I'd have them there. But I think there's ways for you to use your people and not necessarily have them right there on the ground for you. And I still think self-reliance is the way to go. And doesn't mean you can't be in constant communication with the people that help you be at your best. And I'm not saying that there's no role for some sort of like team coaches that are available at championships, but I think that probably those should be discussed and or hired with a lot of athlete consultation. And it might be, could be a long-term position, or it could be positions that are just, specifically geared around championships with certain combinations or whatever. But my feeling is that if you're going to make this commitment to sort of individual programs and people really trying to get them to be at a true international standard, then how are you also going to incorporate team coaches regularly enough that they're going to have command over what those people are doing week in and week out? And I think, again, it just becomes the same question of how realistic is it to think that somebody's going to be able to come in and just sort of learn those horses and learn everything that the other parts of that rider's team know about that horse well enough that it can be trusted for them to step in at a championship. I think you'd just be better off in most cases letting the riders sort of rely upon what got them there. And
so with that, then, would you still agree that whoever that head person is, that team manager, or whoever they put in place, like somebody still has to be in charge of picking the order that you guys are going to run? But how do you feel about, like, you're in first place, you're winning, and they need that clear round out of you, and they say to you, hey, Will, I know you got a shot to win this thing, but we want the medal for the team here. We need you to take the long option at the water. That's probably going to cost you a little bit of time. You may not win. How's that going to fly in that situation?
Well, I think, again, like, a manager he's your leader. And I think, like, if that's the determined strategy for U.S. success, then I don't think anybody's going to have a problem with that.
Right.
I don't think you have to be somebody's coach to make that call.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day, this has got to be about America succeeding. It's not about somebody being the highest placed American. And I think that's the mentality the team's got to adopt as a whole, culturally. And I think you need the manager to sort of, I think, make that part of his job description, is sort of establishing that sort of collective mindset.
Right.
But, team coaches, it's not that I'm against team coaches at all. I just think, again, when you're talking about plugging someone in that can be of some difference-making ability for a bunch of riders that may have very different programs and they're very different horses, it's a very rare person that I think can come in and do that. And structuring U.S. eventing going forward in a way that assumes you're always going to have access to a person like that, I think is highly unrealistic. And I think you're better off structuring it around really, really strong leadership, strong management, and figuring out the best ways to help riders identify weaknesses in their program and the people that can help them address them.
Got it. No, well said. I think for what it's worth, I think you got it about right. So it's going to be interesting to see what USEF does, to be honest, and hopefully we get this all sorted out and we have some direction here very soon. So really briefly, Will, I just want to say I'm really excited about Kentucky. I feel like you and a bunch of the other guys riding right now at the top level are right there primed to win that event and bring it back to America, which would be really cool. And I know we've talked about it sort of off the record. And I just want to make sure that I put this out there. After Kentucky, I want to make sure we get you here to my house and we get that big boot, and we're going to have I guess probably 2 or 3 big cold ones in there. And we're going to have a little drinking competition and a lesson for me as to how to drink out of the boot.
I mean, I got the remedy for drinking out of the boot. I got the secret strategy. So,
perfect.
But yeah, let's wait till after Kentucky and we'll definitely do it.
All right. So I'm going to let you stay focused on Kentucky. That's the priority right now. But as soon as that's done, you're over here poolside, you and Katie and the kids, and we're doing it. All right. And we'll get Rick over here because unfortunately we did lose Rick. His internet is being a little tricky today. So he says, thanks for coming on and sends his apologies for cutting out there. But again, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season. Obviously, we'll be talking at the events. And for all you guys here watching, we're going to be right back And we're going to be taking a trip up to Lexington. We're going to talk with the guys in charge at equestrian events. We got Vanessa Coleman and Mike Cooper coming on, and we're going to hear about all the behind the scenes stuff. So Will, you'll probably want to check that out so that you have sort of the hidden secrets and strategies behind the event.
I will do that.
All right, man. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, John.
I Love My Horse Eventing Boutique is pleased to announce its participation in the 2022 Land Rover Kentucky 3-day event. Located in booth 128 on Dr. Peacher's Way, they have all of your eventing needs. Shock'em breeches, clothing, and boots, incredible quality at competitive prices. And the Shock'em paddock boots are the most comfortable boots that I have ever worn. Fantastic clothing and apparel from makers like Fairplay, RJ Classic, and Kessel. I Love My Horse carries Amalfi breeches. They're comfortable and stylish. Looking for non-fighter products? I Love My Horse has you taken care of there too. They'll keep your team in competition form. I Love My Horse has all of your safety needs covered, safety vests, and of course 1K helmets manufactured to exacting standards with MIPS technology, and they even have their expert helmet fitter, Darlene, on premises for the entire competition. Guys, they have us taken care of too. I Love My Horse has a complete line of men's attire. Come check out their amazing choices. Check out I Love My Horse at the Kentucky 3-day event in booth 128 on Dr. Peacher's Way, or at their store in Ocala located at WEC on the plaza inside Arena 3, or you can give them a call at 352-672-1997.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian-developed, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stress Less Horse Supplement. Rick Wallace here, bringing you Equibrew, a live probiotic that is geared to help your horse's gut health. I'm a true believer in this Equibrew, and it really makes a difference in all of my horses. Equibrew is safe, non-toxic, and clean sport compliant for FEI and racing events. Equibrew is an intact fermentation product with very high numbers of beneficial microbes. Order at equibrew.com or 850-879-2649. Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. And thanks, Will, for that great interview. We are now joined by the interim executive director, Mike Cooper, for EEI at the Kentucky Horse Park, and Derek DiGrazia, our course builder, which is really cool for the Kentucky 5-star. And Derek, I'm sure you're doing the 4-star as well, right? The 4-star short.
That is correct.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us. And we have a lot of questions, so I'm going to let John start.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to be taking the lead here, Rick. All right. Well, let's get to it. So we got the list was released a few days ago as to who was entered in the competition. So I haven't counted it. How many people do you have in each division right now?
Well, I know it's 107 total. I believe it's 58 in 5-star and 57, 58 in 4-star.
50.
That's a pretty good turnout.
50.
So
38 to 50 in the 4-star.
Cool.
So then the closing dates happened, and now we're moving forward. Have we made it solid on the 4-star short entry list and the 5-star long?
Yes, we have.
Great. So moving forward, I know, Derek, you've been out there going around and getting things ready. So what are we going to be looking at this year that's going to be different from last year?
Well, the courses are quite different from the previous year. The tracks are different, using the park in a different way. Obviously, yeah, you'll still be doing the feature fences, but they just come in a different order. And as I said, the combinations are all different. We have some new, I just say we using the park in a different way. So we come to the combinations differently than we have in the past. And so for both the 4 and the 5 star. So I think anybody who was here last year will notice that it is not the same as it was.
That's awesome. Derek. I can't wait to see it. We're going to be there. John, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Derek said a lot without saying anything at all. So what we need to know, Derek.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah, I did. I did pick up on that. So what's the story? Are we running backwards this year? Are we just doing like big serpents through the whole thing? We need
it. Actually,
I won't tell anybody. Give us the inside scoop.
No, I mean, I guess you could say we're running somewhat backwards because the coffin comes quite early in the course this year, where it was late in the course last year, and again, the head of the lake comes later in the course. It comes around 7 minutes, whereas last year it came at around 4 minutes, and so yeah, a lot of the complexes are coming at different times in the course than they have been for the last 2 or 3 years. So, and then the 4-star course is absolutely different. It has its own track from the 5-star course, and again, the 4-star course is quite different from what it was last year as well.
All right. See, that's the kind of information we needed. Good job. All right, good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. So Mike.
Yes.
You are interim executive director, but you have been with the EEI for many, many years, right?
Half my life.
Yep. So you were on the board side, is that correct? And acted as president of the board?
And my last couple of years in 2020 and 2021, I was president of the board. And then I stepped down to become the interim this year.
That is fantastic. So how is it taking from the board side, now you're on the staff side? How's that working for you?
Well, interesting. Being on the board, you have no idea what happens in this office and the small staff of 7-8 people. Right. I mean, you have no, board members are calling me now with suggestions. Everyone thinks they're the best event planner and the best food person and the best, and they're all calling me, and I'm like, put those ideas on hold till we get through this event in the end of the month. But it's, now I realize what I was doing as the president of the board. I was driving Lee Carter crazy because I was calling him with ideas 2 weeks before the event. And Lee's
good segue. Yeah, good segue. Lee Carter went to the Kentucky Horse Park as the executive director, correct?
That is correct.
So that's probably helpful in the combination of him having been sat where you are, and now he's with the Kentucky Horse Park. That might be a little bit more compatible in meshing it together.
It is a perfect storm. I mean, having Lee here, and you can already tell there's a difference in the horse park within the last 2 months that Lee's been here.
That's fantastic.
There's been a lot of new fences, things are being painted, Rolex Stadium's being painted. Honestly, I talk to Lee at least once every day, asking him, how the heck did you do this? Or where do I find this? Or where do I find that? It is wonderful having Lee here, and it's a good combination, and will help our event immensely.
Right. And then Vanessa Coleman, she does a lot there. And, we have a lot of communication with Vanessa, and she couldn't be with us tonight, but, it's always great to have her because I can text her out of the blue and she's always helpful. So kudos to Vanessa.
Vanessa's awesome. She's been putting in a lot of 14, 16-hour days lately, and will until the event ends on May the 1st.
So are we looking at any with the EHV1 or the acronyms for control coming into the park? Should we be looking for anything for our horses to travel in, anything specific yet?
I have not heard Vanessa mention that.
Okay, very good. Well, then let's switch back over to Derek. Hey, John, You were great at pushing him on where we're going.
Yeah.
Derek, last year, for the first time with the 4-star short, we all call it the 5-star short. So, it was a tough track, as it should have been. Are we looking at the same difficulty this year? Have you looked at it in any different way based on the outcome from last year, or what was your thoughts on the 4 short?
For this year, obviously, because I have the new track, I mean, I'm quite happy with the track, and it still is of good size, and I believe that the combinations are at the sort of level for a 4-star short, and and I think that obviously there were a lot of things that happened last year. Obviously, having a course that was up to the standard, as well as obviously then having it sort of rain on the day, I think probably didn't help a lot of people that were coming in, and and then who's to say what the level of the horses, some of the horses were, that came in, whether they were younger 4-star horses or and that's just something I think that when you come to the 4-star here, I mean, it is going to be right up to the standard. And so I think you want to bring a horse that is that you really think is capable of doing that. So
yeah, you don't want to do your first 4-star short at Kentucky.
I wouldn't probably recommend doing that.
That's generally good advice. So again, Derek, because I'm me and you're you, what I want to know is for the 5-star.
Yes.
If you were prepping to be jumping into the head of the lake, I'm completely hypothetical here, of course. Would you be practicing anything specific? Would you be like, I don't know, getting ready to bounce into the head of the lake? Would you be thinking you need to jump in and ride to something in the water, like a fish or a brush fence? Is there, and maybe you want to jump in and bounce across something in the water? I'm just asking hypothetically, if you were prepping for this course, what would you be getting ready for?
I'd want to make sure I'd had a horse that is fairly bold, especially being able to jump in, because it's always a big jumping into the head of the lake, as far as it usually has quite a big drop jumping in. I think the other thing you have to always remember is that when you come to the head of the lake, that you're coming there, and it's like a sea of people there, and so some horses get a little bit backed up by that. Others that have been in these situations, it doesn't seem to affect very much, but I think that's one thing you have to always be thinking about. And then the fact is that again, I'm using the head of the lake like I haven't in, I think, a number of years, and so just again to sort of put a different different look to it. And so I think it does test the boldness, the accuracy, as well as the control and accuracy, the control and turning of horses. And so I think that with all of that, I think that it is going to be quite a good test at the head of the lake for the horses this year. And I think some might not call it overly technical, but I think subtly it is very technical.
And then it's at 7 minutes too, so it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
Right. So that's good. I got a little something out of you there. Accuracy, be ready to turn. It's going to be a little different, but I appreciate that. So then we also have the quarry out back, which is obviously very influential. So I'm trying to figure this out now. If you're at 7 minutes there, you must still go through the quarry before you get to the head of the lake.
It's about at 5.5 minutes, the quarry.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, doing it again in the reverse direction that we did last year. And I think that this year, again, I think that the horses have to be brave jumping into the quarry, and at the same time then be very good with their feet and very straight as they get to the next two elements, as they get down in the quarry and then coming out of the quarry. It's the same thing. I think that the hollow is I like how it turned out this year, and so I think that it's to me it's got big jumps jumping in, as well as the jumps at the bottom and jumping out. I think so it should be a good test for the horses and riders going through there.
Perfect. Let's do this, Rick. We need to take a quick break.
Sure.
And then we'll be right back, and we're going to keep pumping Derek for information. I mean, keep discussing the Kentucky 3-day event.
Very good. We'll come back in a second.
Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454. Jump for Joy fences are easy to move, lightweight, durable, and low maintenance. So we're out here on the cross country. We just finished over in the show jumping over the Jump for Joy fences. Had a great time schooling over them. They're really nice and easy to move, so we were able to adjust some things and really have the exact school that we needed thanks to the Jump for Joy fences. I love them.
Order yours at jumpforjoyusa.com.
When it comes time to compete, I demand the best out of my horses and myself. That's why Elemental Fit Lab, the home of CrossFit antics, is my home gym. Coach Vilma and her team create a fun, welcoming environment for athletes of all levels. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, Elemental Fit Lab will guide you towards a stronger, healthier version of you. Mention the John and Rick Show to get 3 free personal training sessions with enrollment.
Sweet Dixie South is an equestrian facility built for the lifestyle of eventers of all levels. Whether you are coming to Ocala for the entire season, a week, a month, or a year, this beautiful 160-acre farm is the place to settle in and enjoy your time with horses. They offer a full cross-country course with 2 water features, banks, ditches, and amazing footing to gallop, a spectacular all-weather footing ring, large grass jumping fields, and dressage rings. Located in the rolling hills of North Marion County in Reddick, Florida, Sweet Dixie South has 100 stalls and numerous paddocks, apartments, a line of camper hookups, washer and dryer amenities, as well as common areas to complete your experience during your stay. Under the ownership of Mike Campbell and the management of Can-Do Joe Adams of Top Rail Tack, Sweet Dixie South has transformed into a premier eventing training facility in Florida. Go to www.sweetdixiesouth.com for more information.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are still getting our Kentucky preview done here, and Rick, you're going to take this one away from here.
I am. I'm going to go back to Mike. Mike, you know, we have interim. I let it go a little bit. Your interim executive director, is that going to change, or is that going to have another person in that slot later?
Let's see how the event goes, and I'll answer that question.
You want to see if the board rehires you, is what
exactly. Or they'll take me back on the board maybe, and I can finish out my term as president. Who knows?
That's right. Who knows? Well, with that being said, I did see that there's some really interesting and cool things happening at Kentucky this year. I think the Paralympics or the para riders are going to be involved this year.
Yes, we have Ren Zimmerman coming to do a para jumping demonstration.
That's amazing.
And we'll do it in one ring, and then we'll end up she'll end up doing those in Rolex before, I think on Saturday, I believe, Saturday evening.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be great because it's always inspiration to watch the riders do what they do. And, you know, I could never call them handicapped or disabled because they go out there and they do a fantastic job with their horses. And it's going to be really exciting to watch them go. So I'm glad y'all did that.
They're amazing.
The other thing I saw was something about some kind of search or some kind of
scavenger.
What is that?
The scavenger hunt.
A scavenger hunt. That's it.
Yes.
What's going on with that?
We have a cool scavenger hunt going on this year. It's the first time we've ever done that.
Right.
There'll be 100 different searches you can do, like go get a picture with someone or go to this particular sponsor and have your picture taken in front of their signage, or there's a whole list of, like say there are 100 challenges.
Right.
The grand prize of that is a
Land Rover.
Land Rover. That's for the rider. So, but the grand prize for this is a horse trailer. It's a 4-star horse trailer.
What?
Yeah. anyone except staff, of course, but anyone's eligible, all volunteers, all spectators.
All riders.
And there's like, you get certain points for doing certain items on the list. And then, so we've got 10 prizes, but like I said, the grand prize is pretty hefty.
That is really good. So let me walk me through it real quick, and then we're going to switch over to Derek again. But the scavenger hunt, then you come in on property. When does it start and when does it end?
It starts on when dressage starts on Thursday. It'll end after stadium jumping on Sunday.
And then that's awesome. I saw that and it kind of tweaked my interests. Before we go to Derek, who's our 5-star ground jury?
Do you have that?
I don't know. I don't have that.
I don't have
Oh, that's okay. We'll look it up and we'll give it to everybody.
Sorry.
Moving forward, so that's really cool. So then you have the CSI on the show jump on Saturday night, right?
That's right. The speed round's on Friday, and then the big one is on
How many are in that?
I'm
Do you have
sorry,
a number for that? Number of horses?
40. We'll have 2 of the top 10 riders in the world.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. We want to
Well,
pack the
good.
stadium again, like
Yeah,
we did in
that's
2019.
amazing. John, go ahead. I'm going to turn you over to Derek.
All right, Derek, I'm back. So, all right, we talked a little bit about the head of the lake. We got the quarry, or I guess I always called it the quarry.
Yeah.
So now my next question is, we always have a pretty influential coffin on this track. I'm assuming we do that before you even start. We do it in a different way. It's much different this year. It's accurate. But if you were getting ready to jump this coffin, would there be anything specific that you would have your horses trained up for other than jumping a ditch?
I think that you'd want to have been to an event where you've had a coffin, because I think that's to me, there's nothing like practicing those sorts of fences. And I think that you can't get away from, and I think you're starting to see them on more cross-country courses again, which I think it's good. It's a good sort of question that's been around for years. I think a lot for a number of years, you stop seeing them as much on courses. And I think that you have to see them and not just see them at this event for the first time. I think you have to see them other places, because it really is the fact that when you come to jump that jump, jumping in, and all of a sudden the ground goes down to a ditch. I mean, there is that factor that the horses have to be used to the fact that there is going to be a ditch there. And then obviously you have that whole aspect of then being able to ride out over whatever the question is. And so I think that, riders just can't, be satisfied that they jumped in over the rail in a good way, but they have to then be able to continue on and ride out over whatever the question is.
Right. No, I think it's a fair point. There was a while there, I think we'd talked about it, where you could go to events almost up through the intermediate level, having never jumped a coffin in some areas. So I'm glad that the designers are starting to get that sorted. Okay. Now, in all seriousness, I know I'm giving you a hard time, but if this course is running a different direction, do you get the feeling, and I know you don't really know until the horses go around it, but do you get the feeling that fitness is going to be more or less of a factor, the new direction that you're going?
I think fitness, just in general, because there's a lot of terrain change here, which I think a lot of people don't appreciate, just because you're always either going up or down. And so the elevation change here is quite significant, and it does sneak up on you, I think, more so than what you would think. And so I think it's something that I think has to be considered. And also you have to always be thinking about that as far as where are you going to be able to make up time on the course, because that always is, I think, a factor, because over the past few years, time has not been easy to make, and there have only been a few horses each year that have gotten the time. So I think that's just part of the plan, the game plan that the riders have to figure out as they are walking the course and in fact riding it on the day.
Right. Okay. One last one, and then I'll turn it back to you, Rick. Frangibles, obviously a big part of the sport. They can be pretty influential sometimes. And then the riders get all worked up about it. But I'm just curious, do you have any idea? I mean, obviously you have an idea, but do you know off the top of your head how many frangible fences you have out there? Do you have some open corners with frangibles?
No, we've got it all. We've got frangible corners. We've got oxers that are frangible. No gates, but certainly I would say enough that you have to make sure that you ride those obstacles correctly. So I think that it really is something where the riders and the horses have to be able to jump those fences in a way where they are paying attention, and not just being too sloppy at those types of fences.
Right. Well, and for the spectators, that's really great to hear as well. Obviously the riders and the horses for sure appreciate that, but I think the spectators as well know it's going to be exciting. Things are going to be influential, but all of the safety aspect has been really taken super seriously by the whole staff there. So thanks to you and thanks to Mike for that, for sure, for making sure that happens.
So then, yeah, and I appreciate that too, because obviously safety is in the foremost part of all of our thoughts when we go into eventing, and any horse sport for that matter. Mike, on your vendor village, do we have a large contingency this year? Because of what the word we won't talk about, it caused a little bit of problems of having a full capacity last year. Are we looking like gangbusters this year?
Yes, we sponsorships are way up. We have over 130 vendors in the trade fair. We probably got 50 in Sponsor Village. Yeah, everyone's ready to be back. We ran it last year without any spectators, which was kind of interesting. So we are so excited to welcome people back into the horse park and to the 3-day event.
So with that being said, do you have any ticket sales numbers you can give us? Is it more than usual? Is it less than usual?
Well, our hospitality tents are all sold out. Everything sold out. They've been that way for about 2 or 3 weeks, but there are plenty of tickets still available, plenty of general admission tickets available. We're working right now on trying to fill the stadium up. We've got a few seats left in the stadium for Sunday and for dressage on Thursday and Friday. But we're expecting big crowds, and there's still plenty of general admission tickets available.
That's great. Where do they go if people are listening to get their general admissions?
Event.com. And that's got all the information. That's got Scavenger Hunt information. It's got all the vendors. It's a pretty comprehensive website.
That's very cool.
What was the website again, Mike?
Kentucky3dayevent.com.
Perfect. And Rick, did you know, which I'm sure you did, because I was going to ask about the vendor thing too. One of the sponsors of our show here, I Love My Horse, is going to be there as a vendor. They're really excited about it. So I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to make sure we gave them a shout out for being there.
That's awesome. Well, and with that being said, I think that I Love My Horse, it's their 6th year at being vendors there at Kentucky. 5th or 6th.
Perfect. Well, listen, Mike, Derek, we really appreciate you guys taking the time. I know you're incredibly busy, so to step aside and take some time for us, we really appreciate it. Derek, thank you for telling all of the competitors all of the tricks of your course. I'm sure that it's going to be all double clear rounds now, so sorry about that, but we appreciate it.
Always looking forward to having everybody here and for everybody to have a great competition.
We are too, and thanks, Derek. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody watching the John and Rick show, and we'll bring you some more Kentucky highlights as we get closer. Rick Wallace.
And I have Don Holly here with me.
3 phases, dressage, cross country, show jump. And you're out on course and something's going wrong or going right. You know how to react to what they're doing.
It was built originally to be a schooling facility, and so everything's set up very conveniently.